Hey guys, Jonah here once again, surfing the sea of beer so you guys don't have to. And this one's an interesting one. This one is back from Restore Our Earth, which is the Garden Breweries Collaboration Fest, with all sorts of breweries, generally around Europe, but some from further afield. And this time we are looking at Lervig. Oh, he says as the page flaps open, Lervig Brewery. Or no, be that way up. Lervig. Who are from Norway. So I've yeah, they're one of the breweries that's slightly easier to find. Um and my good buddy Jim, who's no longer with us, he used to work in Norway. And he said the beers in Norway are ridiculously expensive. Um, and there wasn't really a craft scene because Norway they imported a lot of stuff because it's cold and they don't grow that much stuff up there. But Lervig, they're now doing lots of lovely brews, and this one's a collaboration brew. I should probably show you what it is. There we go, Lervig, and ironically, this is a West Coast double dry hopped or DDH IPA. It says it's assertive, dank, resinous, and chewy. A classic West Coast IPA with a modern hop product spectrum and incognito. And it's a 6% beer. If we turn that around a little bit, collaboration brew between the Garden Brewery and, of course, Lervig. Now, the interesting, I'm going to put that one down just for a second. Don't worry, we'll get to drinking it because it is Friday after all. Hallelujah. Made it through another week, just about. And the reason why Lervig are part of this Restore the Earth is because they've put in a new system. Apparently over COVID, Lervig, their brewery kind of messed up and all their packaging thing broke down and the labeling system didn't work. And they redesigned and rebuilt their whole brewery and lots of equipment. So what they decided to do is, and some bigger breweries have done this, the Gads Brewery, which is literally under a mile away from where I am. So God bless you, Eddie Gadd. They've got a system, and so have Lervig, for reclaiming the carbon dioxide produced when beer is made. As we all know, yeast essentially eats sugar, causes carbon dioxide to come out, and alcohol is the byproduct, which is quite cool, if you ask me. But yeah, a couple of years ago, probably before lockdown actually, carbon dioxide was in very, very short supply. And especially in the hospitality industry, people do what's called forced carbonation. Um, don't tell people from camera because they won't like you because they like cask beer, and so do I, to be honest. But I totally understand that forced carbonation is a good way of serving beer. So what you do is you use carbon dioxide. You push carbon dioxide into your keg, metal kegs usually, although you can do it with other ones, but yeah, we'll say kegs. Push carbon dioxide in, and then it pushes the liquid out. And of course, because carbon dioxide is inert, or at least mostly inert, yeah, it doesn't harm the beer at all. It protects the beer, so the beer itself has a longer shelf life. And yeah, if you get the temperature control right and you do it under pressure, you can actually create carbon dioxide in the actual beer itself, so you can make it a bit fizzier and that kind of stuff. You can do the same with nitrogen too, or a mixture of carbon dioxide and nitrogen, but we won't get into that today. So let us have a look at what we're talking about. So, whoops, double dry hopped West Coast IPA from Lervig in Norway. It says back to the golden age of West Coast IPAs. bucket loads of sea hops, and we'll have a look at that in a minute, poured over robust malt with plenty of caramel biscuit, backing up firm bitterness with pine, grapefruit, and tangerine. Pine! So the hops are Chinook, Incognito, Cascade, Citra Spectrum, I should say, Centennial, my personal favourite hops of all time, and Idaho 7. So there is a ridiculous amount of hops in this bad boy. Oh, 5 minutes and I haven't even had any beer yet. Right, let's get in there because it is Friday. And I need a beer. 6% beer. Oh. 6% is quite a nice level for me. Got the tulip again. Really liking this glass actually. It fits 440s and 330s very, very nicely. I believe it's something weird like 490, so I won't actually be able to fit a whole 500 or even a pint in there. So, lovely finger, more than a finger's head, just off. So tiny bit off white, but look at that colour, ridiculous colour, quite hazy actually, mainly because of the hops. Let me do a check. But, oh yeah, that colour is proper West Coast IPA colour, which usually comes from crystal malt added to your pale malts. That's what I was going to say. Let me see if I can see what the recipe is. Let's put it up here because my eyes are absolutely ridiculous. Come on, dude. You're going to focus in on there a bit? No. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there we go. Drink this beer. Help us do goody stuff. Garden Brewery. It's telling us all about the earth and all that kind of good stuff. No, it's just saying water, hops, yeast, and malt. Yeah, okay. So it's not good. Oh, say 50p. Do I get 50p back if I recycle this can? That would be cool, wouldn't it? In fact, let me do one of these. We'll see if I can use that at all. I'm quite looking forward to this. So we're using slightly different hops or slightly modern versions of the hops that would be yeah, in a proper West Coast IPA from 10 years ago. But cheers and beers, guys. Let's see what we get. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now, this is interesting because it has not got a huge IBU punch, so it's not superbly bitter. In fact, it's quite smooth, I would have to say. It has got a bit of texture to it, and that I think is coming from the hops. I don't think this has got things like wheat or oats in it, although the the actual kind of ingredients do not say. Wow, that is proper tasty though. Mm. That is really nicely balanced with hop flavour. It has got that hedgerow, that dankness that kind of permeates everything. but it does have that kind of damp grass thing. It's got the yeah, it's got the bubble gum, which I love, the Centennial thing there, and it does have the, I don't know if it's grapefruit. It's not grapefruit. It's kind of like a peachy kind of, yeah, kind of peachy. It's not Cascade because I don't think there's Cascade. Did it say Cascade? I don't think it did in here, but oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. The only thing I would say is it's far too. Oh, it does have Cascade. So yeah, cool. It's got Cascade in as well. It doesn't have that bitterness, which I associate with the West Coast IPA. It's a bit too light. So perhaps they've done a really light brew and then just, well, it's double dry hop, don't forget. So they've added the hops in really, really late on. So maybe not even a full 1 hour boil, although it could do. But it's not very bitter, is what I mean. And they've just chucked hops after hops after hops, boom, in there very late to get that lovely hop flavour. But I think maybe if this was for me, I would have maybe boiled it a tiny bit longer. This is very much like that beer. What's it called? Lucky Jack, I think, or something. It's one of Lervig's own brews. Whoa. And it's something to do with fishermen. Wow. I mean, if you didn't really lament for a West Coast IPA style, you want to get slapped in the face with the bitterness. This is a really good beer, I have to say. Very, very nice. As I say, my only, well, it's a tiny bit too sweet, but then West Coast styles always were a little bit sweet. So that's not bad in my opinion, but a tiny bit too sweet. And not bitter enough. So if you raise the bitterness a tiny bit, it will balance out the sweetness that I'm getting. So you wouldn't need to change the malts at all, just up the hops in the boil. Oh, my God, what's that, the third or fourth belch I've had? Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, this is over 4 out of 5, this beer. Not a 5 out of 5, but it's a 4.25, I'd say. Oh, look at that. You've even got a little bit of tide lines. I hadn't really kept an eye on that, to be honest. But look how that's sticking to the side of the glass. Absolutely cool. It looks a bit like a leopard or some sort of spotted creature, a jaguar maybe. Ah, that is a really good beer. I very much doubt whether you can find this now, because this is a couple of months ago these were released, and yeah, I think it's fantastic. West Coast double dry hopped IPA. This is the best beer I think I've had out of the Garden Brewery collaborations so far. The Garden Brewery do similar type of beer. They do West Coast and East Coast styles. They do American styles, which I think is a bit bizarre considering they're a Croatian brewery. But maybe that's because they're trying to go away from the traditional kind of pilsners and lagers that tend to be in that area in Europe, and go with something totally different and go for American IPA styles, no matter how on trend they are at the moment, because they still are full on trend. Anyway, this has been Unclejona. Please enjoy your weekend. Um, Click like and subscribe and all that kind of nonsense to pray to the elder gods of YouTube, and to keep them happy with what I'm doing. It really does make a difference, actually. I know I've started to say this. You're probably getting sick and tired. So if you don't want me to say it anymore, then click like and subscribe. The more people that do, the less I'll mention it. Yes, I have. Yeah, I was in the supermarket the other day and I saw a range of beers called North versus South, which is a kind of, it's two beers that I could find, although it might be maybe more beers, collaboration beers representing the north of England and the south of England. And what you're supposed to do, I think, my God, that's ridiculous carbonation in there. That's because Lervig, they've recycled the carbon dioxide and put it in the damn beer. What's going on? Yeah, North England versus South England. Try the two beers. They're both 7.5%. I think they're double IPAs, if I remember. So they're both very similar. And you vote on which one you think's best. So two beers. I'm going to drink both on two subsequent days, probably over the weekend. I'll give you my thoughts. If you want to try and drink those beers and drink along with Unclejona, get down to the UK supermarket called Tesco, and yeah, look on the top shelf. Not at the porn, it's beer porn. Cycle through and see if you can find. I think they're three quid each. And usually I'm a tight bastard and I don't like paying £3 for a beer, but it's a 7% beer on each. So I thought, I could buy some really weak piss beer in the pub for 3 quid, or I could buy a 7% beer in the supermarket for 3 quid. It seems like I had a bargain, but we'll see what happens once I drink these beers. Anyway, guys, it's getting on. Sorry for rambling, but you know what I'm like. Cheers and beers to you all, and we'll see you tomorrow for more beer reviews. And hey, bring on the weekend.